Hi, everyone. Lawrence here to fill you in on the next few days of my stay and new life here in Berlin. Um, so let's just get right to it. By the way, this is the last time I will be videotaping from this apartment. I moved tonight to Schöneberg. I'm very excited. So, yeah, I'll be showing you the new place, which I'm very excited about. So, we're talking now day 6 here. Not a whole lot going on. I stayed home. I had lunch with my American friend right across the street. There's I don't know what to call it exactly. I'll just say Asian food restaurant because it's not really traditionally any cuisine from any particular country. So it's sort of Thai-ish, mix of Chinese, Thai, Vietnamese. Anyway, but I got some dumplings that were very good and had a nice time. So that was lunch, and then I had a couple students and taught, and it was a quiet day at home. The next day was a lot more eventful. In the morning, I went and got my Anmeldung done. Luckily, the company that has moved me here, the relocation service, filled out the forms, the Anmeldung forms for me. So I knew, they're in German, and I wouldn't know what to do. So they helped with that. And I had to take the bus down to a Rathaus, which is like the city hall of an area of Berlin, not far from here. And, I was a little nervous. I was like, I get nervous about everything. But everybody seemed to have their documents in these nice, clear covered folders. And mine were just like, sitting there folded up and, typical American. Anyway, so I thought, oh gosh, they're going to think I'm a mess, but they didn't. I went up and there was this lovely Asian woman who helped me. And when she could tell that I spoke English, and especially when I told her, she had asked where I was from originally, and I said Cleveland, Ohio. And she got very excited. She had a friend from Ohio, but she wasn't sure what city. And then she was like saying how happy she was to talk English, to speak English with me. And she doesn't get the chance to do that very often. So I was like, oh, okay, this was nice. So that all went well. I got my official Anmeldung, and I was considered a real resident of Germany now. So that was exciting. So I came home from that, and then I was also able to make an appointment for my visa, which is not an easy thing because the appointments go very quickly. And the one I got was for a few months away. It's mid-January, and I'm technically only allowed to stay here for 90 days, which takes me to mid-December. But luckily, if you have an appointment for a visa set up, you're allowed to stay as long as until your appointment, and then you have to see what happens then. So I'll be fine. I just can't leave the country really between mid-December and mid-January, which is fine. So anyway, so I was glad to have that finally set up. There's a lot of work to do to get it going. And luckily, my friend Daniel's friend Bettina, I was connected to her through him, and she is incredible and amazingly helpful in getting all the information for what you need for a freelancer's visa. So she's been helping me, and I still have a few things to do, but so that's been really good. Then I went out and visited the Mitte area, which is really kind of the center of the city, and it was just one wow after another. You come out of this brand new train station that was spotless. It was gorgeous. And you come out, and there is the Berliner Dom, the huge cathedral. And it's an amazing, beautiful building. Not as old as, much of Berlin was bombed, as much of Germany was during the Second World War. So a lot of things have been rebuilt, many of them looking like they, as close to what they originally did before then, but some of them not, some of them are new. But this, looks like an old large Baroque church with a huge dome. It's beautiful. So I walked from there through, they call it Museum Island. It's a whole area on an island on the river Spree that has there's so many museums here. I've never heard of a place with so many museums, and I haven't yet been to one. I've walked by them, but I have to, they're overwhelming. I don't even know which one to go to first. So I will be doing that and reporting back, of course. But it was good to just get a sense of where everything was. So I walked by these beautiful buildings that are mostly museums, the Staatsoper, the big opera company here, there's two big opera companies here, the Berlin Staatsoper and the Deutsche Oper. There's also the Komische Oper, which is more of a lighter opera company. But anyway, so walked by the beautiful Gendarm Markt or Platz. I can't remember if it's a Markt or a Platz or both. Anyway, and then over to Friedrichstrasse, which is a big shopping street, and ended up over at the Brandenburg Tor, which is one of the famous landmarks here. It's a gate that leads into the Tiergarten, which is the big park, there's a lot of green space here, but this is like the big central park in Berlin. So it was cool. It's a beautiful archway thing, and it had been renovated also. I know that's not the right word. What's the word when they do that? Anyway, I'll think of it. Or I won't. And outside, it was very cool. Outside, there were a lot of people and people taking pictures, and some guy was doing this thing with bubbles. He was making huge amounts of really colorful bubbles, and the kids were having a blast at playing with the bubbles and running after them and everything. And then I made my way home. One thing I did learn that morning also was to have the bakery slicer bread, because I cut myself slicing the bread, and I just went, I'm done with these crusts. I can't get through this bread with this knife. So the bakeries, luckily, will do it, most of them for you. So that's a good thing. The next day, which now I've been there a week, the next day, my keyboard finally arrived. I had mistakenly said I had the keyboard a few days earlier. It kept getting delayed. I forgot. And I was teaching with a pitch pipe, which is not the easiest thing to do. So the keyboard finally arrived. I got that set up. That was exciting. And then I went to my farmer's market in the area and bought a new mushroom I had never seen before, called a marrone. It's a bolete, like a porcini or cep is, but they're brown. They're darker colored and brown. I didn't like them as much. I think these might have been a little old too. I don't know. They seemed a little old. They're a little slimy. They're a little, I don't know. The flavor was good though, but they weren't as crisp as a cep, but or Steinpilze actually is the German word. But I ended up making a few things out of them, a soup and an omelet and stuff. And I ate them. I mean, they were good, but not as good as the Seps. But anyway, that's just my thought. So the rest of this day, I went, and there was a special reason for this. I went to a suburb of Berlin called Steglitz, which is in the southwest. And the reason I went there is because I am writing an opera that revolves around the end of Kafka's life, Franz Kafka, the author, of course. And he lived there near the end of his life, and I wanted to see the house where he lived, which I found, and I was very moved to see it. And the park where part of the story takes place. So walked around there, and that was very cool. I had lunch at an amazing Vietnamese restaurant. Vietnamese food is a big thing here, more than Chinese or Thai. It's they're just, for some reason, more Vietnamese people here, I guess. But this was one of the best Asian meals of any sort that I'd ever had. It was delicious. And they made a dish kind of special for me because I was sort of torn between some things, and they said, we could make you something that kind of combines all the things I love. So they did that for me, and it was so good. And after Steglitz, I went up to Schöneberg, which is where I'm moving to tonight, and walked around that area, kind of more southern Schöneberg, and stopped at this amazing chocolate shop, which I always go crazy at these chocolate shops, and bought a bunch of stuff, because I eat it. I eat chocolate every day. So dark, almost always dark chocolate. And let's see, did I do anything else that day? No, you know what? I came home and the apartment had been cleaned. Once a week they clean this place, the complex. They just clean the apartment once a week. So that was a nice thing to deal with. I've never had that service before, except in a hotel. And I'm not really in a hotel. So it was really nice. And I forgot to mention, on the train to Steglitz, I had my first scam. In New York, you get them all the time, but I hadn't had them here yet. And there was a supposedly deaf person wanting me to sign a petition to build something that would be helpful for deaf people. And I thought, great. So I'm filling it out, and then at the end of it, it says, your donation. I didn't see that part. So I thought, oh, all right. So I gave a little bit of money, and then she put her hand out for more. And I gave her a little more just so she would go away. And then a guy came over to me and he said, they're not really deaf. That's a scam. I was like, okay, welcome to Berlin, I guess. But, that's going to be everywhere, I know. And I'll just have to watch out for it and not be so gullible. Anyway, so we've gone through my first full week, and beautiful things, and it keeps getting better. So thanks, and I'll see you soon from the new apartment. Yeah, bye.